The board has decided to have this town hall discussion meeting due to the fact that recent compelling programs have had disappointing attendance, and because we didn't have volunteers at the fall elections to install new officers. So I guess, should I let Mary? I guess Sarah can do that. I guess I'd like to thank the current officers, like while I'm at this point. So like to thank Mary as past president, Lorelei for doing the job bank, Judy for doing membership. They're all here in the audience. And Henry for the e-zine, Sarah for doing the video editing, Brian is past president. The position of president and vice president are unfilled, and the positions of membership, website, social media, programming, job bank, secretary, and e-zine have been filled by the same volunteers for multiple years. So these positions need reinforcements to help get more done, share new ideas, and add energy to our activities. I'd like to announce that I'm officially going to be semi-retired by the end of the year from Team Spike. I intend to continue doing programming, but I would like to train a replacement. So that would be a goal for this year as also. Many of the current officers want to stay in limited ways or are willing to continue but need help or want help with their replacements to be successful. I'd like to add that strategic volunteering like that for CDPUG can be very helpful in growing a career. It establishes credibility, adds favorable content to a resume, and offers opportunities for experiences that are not available in other ways. So I guess I'd like to add that I don't think I mentioned this when I talked about the showcase, but CDPUG is actually 36 years old now. So we have 4 more years before we can get to the promised land. There is some positive news. We do have some reinforcements in the pipeline. Kate Herman, who's a youngster, has volunteered to help with social media. And Dave Salisbury's offered to help with the website, or I might try to see if he might help with programming. These volunteers are great, but they're not enough. So before we get into our discussion, I'd like to remind you of our mission statement. I believe it's still relevant, but it might be open for review or revision. The Cleveland Digital Publishing Users Group helps the area's top graphic designers with professional development and networking. CDPUG is a nonprofit organization that was founded to provide educational information about digital publishing. The mission is accomplished through monthly meetings, the e-zine, and the services directory. Our meeting topics are diverse and platform independent. Memberships are available. So that's the opening statement. Next would be a discussion of the future of CDPUG, where hopefully some decisions can be made, elections of board officers, and filling of committees. I do have a few ideas to start the conversation. From the point of view of programming, we might want to think of less is more and have fewer programs during the year. Maybe a traditional program to kick off the year, the May Showcase, a field trip, member roundtable, and a holiday party. So that would be a little bit easier to do. The second idea is concerted efforts to promote CDPUG and recruit new members through social media and outreach to younger members like students. So those are my ideas to kick off the conversation. I guess you can put stuff in the chat for the people that are in Zoom. And I'm not sure how we'll work without the meeting now working, but
I could try.
Okay, so now would probably be good to try it so we can have conversation. I mean, I made a couple suggestions, but
I like the suggestions though, Spike.
Yeah, so I can read those again if you'd like. It might be so long ago, you might have forgotten what I said. So I discussed maybe the idea of less is more. So that would be, I'm used to doing meetings every month. So that would be, I was thinking just as something simple like traditional program in January, time to do the May Showcase in May. a field trip in the summer, a member roundtable in the fall, like we did in December, where we basically had a conversation among all our members
Can we
about.
do more of those? Because that was awesome.
Yeah, we could do more than one. So if that's what you like, we can. I guess
Yeah, because
would be
that's
maybe
like organically building the conversation to what people are wanting and needing.
I almost think that would be a better thrust for the whole group. Because in all honesty, when I joined years ago, there wasn't the internet to go find out all this stuff. If I had questions about InDesign or it was great once a month, getting to meet everybody and I could call people. Now, I just go look it up on the internet,
Exactly.
I need.
Can you all hear Mark on Zoom?
I can.
Okay, so that should be good.
Okay, and that's what if we kind of change the thrust of this, be more social and more kind of getting together and just like the state of the industry, even just having, hey, what are you guys hearing that's coming up, the new, what's new in building websites, where's the print world going? And really keeping the showcase, I think that's good.
Yes, Mike.
The idea of, but
Holiday party, I like that.
I'm never against
more
that.
social. Staying connected, I mean, you really want to keep connected with your membership, and I think you're right, there's something to it. That we, have maybe quarterly, we have something planned, and then there's a time we get together to see what is new, because we always will find things out when we start sharing with each other.
Yeah, so if we did like every quarter, like you said, so there'd be 4 of those, so there's 4 roundtables, which is great for sharing ideas and learning about everybody else's capabilities, and just general networking. So there's 4 of those. You got the main show, you got the
Holiday party.
Yeah, the holiday party, a field trip or 2. That only leaves us with like 3 or 4 more.
Oh, so you're basically saying keep more regular meetings, but or more
social, and then we have the occasional actual content.
Programming kind of is less significant.
Right.
No offense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Not as often.
That would be huge.
Yeah, I mean that would be a little bit easier for me because it's
A
always
little less stress on you, Spike.
trying to find a speaker on a topic. Sometimes, I always come up with something, but sometimes I have to think about it. It takes a lot of premeditation to think of that. Yes, Vesla?
I think that through these discussions, perhaps there will be something that we can conclude that we need more of. So that way we can target a particular speaker or something as a feedback maker.
Yeah, like the roundtables will spur some ideas for speakers.
Oh, I see.
maybe we do just a one-off speaker if we know somebody's going to be in town or something. Hey,
Right.
just a pop up.
And it doesn't have to be on the regular meeting night.
Yeah.
Right, just keep your quarterly events predictable, but then have topics as they become topics.
Yeah.
I may be about to say one of the stupidest things I've ever said. But
Oh my.
Oh, come
Oh
on
my.
now.
if we went to that, I'd consider coming back and maybe being president or vice president. Did I tell you it was stupid? Did I tell you it was stupid?
I'd vote for you, Mike.
I second that. You're in.
All right, well, elections is in the agenda after the discussion.
Oh, look at the time.
No.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong thing here and knocked myself off, but I know you've been talking about programming. To be honest, I'm a writer, so I'm really a fish out of water in this organization, really. But I started coming because the meetings, the meeting subjects were interesting and the meetings, were well run. So, and I found that to be true, even though I haven't been to any for a while because I had gotten involved in some community neighborhood things, and it seems like there's usually a conflict. And also, sometimes the subject really is so far afield for me that, it's just not there for me. And like I say, I am a fish out of water. So what I wanted to talk about was not programming, but I was in a organization. In fact, I was chapter president a number of years ago. It was called ITVA, International Television Association. It was international because there was one member from Canada, and so they hung that title on it. Made it sound better too. But it was a video organization of the traditional Ampex, tape-based videographers. And as technology developed, there was another organization that was computer-based videographers. And for a while, the traditional videographers didn't want anything to do with the new kids on the block, and then they found out that they were having to incorporate that technology. So, make a long story short, eventually the two organizations merged. And I was just wondering, is there anything in here for, is there an affinity group or some organization that would be a good match that CDPUG could, explore, at least maybe even just trying a few co-meetings or getting their members interested in something that CDPUG might be putting on, so that there would be more attendees. I think it's frustrating when you put on a good program and you don't really have a lot of people taking you up on it, although Zoom helps because you do spread it through Zoom. Anyways, that's my question has anybody thought of that or looked around? Is there anything to that?
There's at least I don't know of any organizations that we would kind of partner with. I mean, maybe we could do joint programs with other organizations, but there's not really something like that. I mean, Noise is gone. Greater Cleveland PC Users Group is gone. So there's not that many organizations. So we have thought about using Meetup for promoting us. It's just that I haven't had the bandwidth to kind of sort of figure out how to use, I have my hands full trying to make sure the plugins for the website are working and I do the website okay. But that might be another way for us to get exposure because of the people go to Meetup looking for programs.
There is a cost to organizing.
Yes. You want to talk about what's involved with that, Mark? Do you have any experience on that?
Well, I haven't run one, but I've been involved with quite a few, and it's basically just a bunch of groups about random topics that you can find people with common interests, whether it's beer lovers or computers or people who go skiing. So I would highly suggest that. I want to say it's maybe about $100 a year to organize a group. But who knows, we may get some new blood in here from it.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a cost, but it's not much, so we can definitely be worth
I
trying.
think it was about 100 a year, if I remember right.
So I think does that kind of answer your question, Mike, a little bit, or at least it adds to the conversation?
Yeah, that helps.
I guess one of the topics I wanted to ask is we bought the Meeting Owl. That was great. We did the GoFundMe for it. And, hybrid meetings, do we keep doing those? Do we want to do Zoom only meetings? What would be the best way to keep people engaged?
As long as we have the mics working, I like that.
I think give them choice. I think it's good for people because everybody's lives are so crazy busy that everything's changed so much over the last few years that people are probably still trying to get their bearings. So having that option is a good idea. And yes, we'll get the mics working.
Okay, I think we have it already. We should try to use it. I guess maybe the question's better is when do we do Zoom only meetings and when do we do hybrid meetings? Like the roundtable was fine in Zoom. Everybody seemed to participate pretty well.
I personally prefer this over it. That way we could go out afterwards. There's just something different. I think everybody's getting tired of looking at meetings on a screen for the last 3 years. And to give the option literally every time we physically can.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. I guess the hybrid part or the Zoom part would be good if it's bad snowstorm or something the night of the meeting.
And some people are still hesitant to go out, which is fine. I mean, everybody's got their own.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, do I want to chase over to Garfield right now? I can just sit down at my desk and join the meeting.
Okay.
So that's why I support both.
Right. It'd be easier for Sarah since she lives pretty far away too. I'm sure she would like that.
I would agree
Yes.
with Mark and everything that's been said so far on that, is Henry. The fact that it just gives you a lot of flexibility because, if you have an audience that can't come into the local area and they live further out, that's a great way to, still have people attend our meetings in that sense. So I wouldn't get rid of that, of course.
All right. So I guess takeaways are more roundtables, fewer regular programs, and but combining.
Not that we don't want regular programming, but it's tough to get a speaker, it's tough to come up with new ideas, like 6 times a year or however many,
I mean, you've done great over the years, but it's got to be tough thinking of something new each time, or relatively
To bring people in.
and current.
I like our idea of brainstorming in the roundtables that we do, come up with ideas and share those ideas and come up with programming and come up with meetings that,
That share interests that we've been coming up at the roundtables. It's just like things that we were more interested in finding more about. That's kind of like a key of what the next meeting could be, like finding a speaker for that on that topic to go for a wider audience.
Somebody in town, rather than.
Right. Random dates.
Thank you, right? Topic.
I'd like to go to somebody's backyard,
There you go.
like mine.
Also, we're making some review. It wouldn't have to be having to really groom somebody else to do the programming job either. It can almost be organic from anybody. Hey, I just heard about such and such is happening. What do you think about doing a meeting in 2 weeks when this happens?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So what about increasing, I guess maybe changing the subject from, I don't want to we can come back to it, but from programming, what about trying the issue of finding more members and younger members so that, because I think that's kind of an issue for us too, or even that kind of not even just membership, but it was, there's definitely the fact that Judy, how long have you been doing membership? Have you probably lost count, right?
Yeah, it's 10 years.
And I like doing programming. I don't even remember when I started because I feel like I'm naturally curious and want to learn things about different topics. But I do think that there needs to be not necessarily turnover. I don't want Judy to leave, but more people like membership really could be a committee.
It's been tough the last 3 years. It's almost been unfair, we haven't had physical meetings, it's how do you get people to rejoin the comp of $40, you're not actually having physical meetings until the last couple months we've had, I'm hoping we get back into gear again, return back to normal.
It's a tough transition. It's taken a long time for a lot of things.
So I guess I'm hoping something will come out of tonight too, where there's either candidates that we have, officers for the rest of the year, and that we get additional people for the committees to or else an effort I'd like to have a meeting with Janet and Henry and Kate, the new person that wanted to do social media and get more people to whether it's Instagram and other things to actually do more activity to get us out there to younger people to come to our programs.
It really is. It's the biggest way to do it. That follows the owner to do it more.
What if we put together a flyer that we could put up at, like, public boards at the Student Institute of Art, because we attend.
I mean, Kent and CIA and, yeah, that would be great.
Won't you allow you to put stuff up?
No, of course not. You're not affiliated. You're not connected. You're not down. You're not down. Why not the perhaps?
Yeah, Jacinda and I talked about this. So I guess if you want to share your idea, Jacinda, like that would be.
I mean, I wrote like 4 ideas down for you guys, because I think that in a time where everyone in the world is talking about inclusion and access and community, you all are not. And I think that's a challenge, right? And so what could you do to be able to get into that space? And I think one of the greatest things that you could do is have a feeder. Find a feeder. Find a feeder organization.
So what is that?
So let's just say we would pick Tri-C. I'm not saying it's Tri-C.
No.
Saying it's Tri-C. I'm just saying Tri-C has a multitude of schools and majors that are connected to technology. What would it look like? We're already having a hard time coming up with this programming. What would happen if you had a collaborator that you would share responsibility? So they might bring venue, they might bring an educator to help, they might bring another faculty member on board who would sit on the board, who would participate in that capacity. And in that capacity of being a feeder organization, some of your program will be related to things that they're interested in, and some of their programs would be things that you were interested in. So that opportunity of having a feeder, I think you're missing that opportunity. There's a lot of low hanging fruit around here between the schools, between the other small business development centers. You're not connected to any of those. You're not participating in any of those kind of conversations. That's opportunity. That's opportunity for you all.
That would hit the youth, people coming up.
So I'm just trying to think of how to make that happen. Like, because one person's job is to like contact CIA.
The reason that just as you're talking about, how do we do that? That's the problem. You're not.
I mean, we're already spread so thin. I've been doing this thing for 15 years. Like, I got no time extra to go to.
Yeah. From my understanding, this was about ideation.
Right.
And so in the ideation phase, we're not shooting it down. In the ideation phase.
Oh, I'm not shooting it down. I'm just saying, like,
Well,
how do we establish like a relationship if we only have like,
You can
establish a
relationship. It's not about It's not just about spite. It's really about what the organization is interested in the feeder. So the feeder that you would pick would need to be someone who shares a like-minded perspective.
Are you associated with it? You consider to be a feeder association?
Okay, all my work is in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you all are severely lacking in that area. So I just want to throw that out here, like,
which I think is
so. So I just want to let you know, all my work is in the DE&I space. So being able to like connect you in that part is going to be really, really difficult. But what I can say though is that if you go through the organizations that are here, whether it be the community college places, whether it be the trade schools, whether it be any of the other broadcasting organizations, we have like 3 broadcasting schools here in the city who all have a tech focus. Anyone who has a tech focus, I would almost suggest that you create a persona of what this partner would look like, and then decide how will we go and connect with that person. I wouldn't just be sending Spike out to go and talk to somebody.
But who would you send them to?
I think you're missing me. What I'm saying is to develop something of what the perfect partner would look like.
What about, there's a blend of that.
So hold on, you missed me. I'm saying develop and do some homework within the organization of what a partner would look like. When you get that done, then it's easy to say who to call. Right now, you're just jumping like, who should I call? That's not going to be a good phone call. It's not going to be a connection. because you haven't figured out how we can work together. We haven't figured out what kind of like-mindedness that you and this other person share. That's why I'm saying take a minute, even if you just do a 10 bullet point thing or, hey, top 10 things that, hey, here's why we think we're a good partner and here's what we're looking in a good partner.
Yeah, I guess in the past, it was very dynamic for me to do because I was meeting lots of vendors and people in town already just because of my work. But the feeder organizations, they're not people that they've been working with already, but not, yeah.
It shouldn't be. That's why. I mean, you're in one breath, you're saying you want new blood, and then you're saying you want new blood, you want a younger audience, you want more participation. Y'all got to do something you never did to get something you never had.
Yeah,
So
I understand you have to do something different.
About sitting spike to go and talk to somebody. It's really taking a moment and just doing some stock of, hey, why do we think we're a good partner?
What benefit do we offer?
And then what do we offer? And so I think that if you took a moment, I don't know when the board meetings or any of that are, and I'm not trying to put anything on. I understand that many of you all have been here many, many moons. However, if you're looking at keeping this alive, you have to look at succession planning. I can't even believe that that's not the conversation that's happening, right? What is our legacy? What is our succession planning? Who is that? How might we keep that going? So this idea of a theater organization is something to think about. The other thing I wanted to share really fast, I was trying to figure out what bullet point we were on in the chat up there. I couldn't.
We're on the discussion.
Right, okay.
We're in the middle. You missed the opening statement, but
no worries. I also think you're missing a really great opportunity in leveraging your expertise here with another organization who doesn't have the expertise. So small business owners, right? They're trying to figure out how to do many of the things that you all do here at a regular basis. They're trying to figure out who to talk to, who to get that information from. So I think this whole place of looking at this entrepreneurship place as well as entrepreneurship. And I think it's important to consider that we have a Black-owned business development center here. There's a women-owned business development center here. There's a white one and a veterans one. There are 4 business development centers here who are all looking to learn how to use technology to start businesses, to do things in their business. You are a technology-based organization. Perhaps y'all should talk.
It'll also connect people looking for work. Hey, we've got people who do networking. We got people who are designers. Now we got young business owners that have no clue about any of it. That's where our services directory comes back.
And I think that's a huge leverage that taking a moment of stock of what we have and why you're the partnership. I think that will form itself. Once you do that piece, that conversation, that portion of the ideation, I think it'll reveal itself.
The other interesting thing I was thinking about in partnering with say Tri-C or an educational place, what we can offer them is they can offer their students internships. Hey, Spike, need somebody to come train? So we can offer them something.
You can also offer.
And they offer us a feeding of upcoming members.
And in the relationship you established, hey, listen, if we do continue in this partnership, we're going to need 2 people from your organization to join the board.
That's easy enough.
Right? But that's what partners do. That's how partners operate. Partners are not lone rangers and going out on their own. Partners are like, hey, partner, we're going to think about doing this. What are your thoughts? How do your people feel? Okay, here's how our people feel. And then we're going to make a decision jointly. Right? I'm not suggesting that you just run out and go find somebody. I'm suggesting, first of all, that you do the work to figure out why you're a good partner and then what you want in a good partner. And then let that reveal itself.
Cleveland Gift Camp once a year. People are making applications for creating websites. I mean, that could be a great resource.
if you rethink, if you think in that method, it opens it up. Here's another one for you guys. We're fortunate living in Cleveland to have public libraries as well as county libraries, right? Why can't the library be a partner? I mean, they're always looking for programming. They're always advertising. They reach, I mean, who doesn't have a public library card or some sort of county-based library card?
So you're saying basically, but say, hey, we're having a CD Bug meeting here, we're going to talk about this, invite your patrons.
Absolutely. Will you send our message to your others, right? And in exchange for that, we would love to invite you to have conversations about what other type of text-based or, creative-based things might be your patrons are interested in.
That's a good point.
And
Libraries are a perfect place to start.
I mean, you already here. I mean, clearly somebody got some friends around here. So I just think that you're missing you're missing like I think you're missing an interesting relationship opportunity. So we talked about the feeder schools. We've talked about the small business development centers here. We talked about the library access here. And then the last place that I really want to kind of throw this out there, well, we have a really huge community here who are looking to learn, not just students, not just business owners, right? There's a global Cleveland. They have people who come here from out of town, out of state, out of the country, yearly, regularly, right? And they're looking to learn how to do stuff, where to go and get things, how to get access, what might a relationship in that capacity look like? And so those are some of the places that I was thinking about. I also think the YMCA and the YWCA are an opportunity that perhaps we haven't discussed. Because again, those members are individuals who are transitioning into places in and out, right? Because that's what the Y is all about, helping people get to where they need to go. What if you're part of that process? What if you're a part of the, hey, listen, if you come to a year of programming, you're gonna learn these 3 things. It's a job.
I'm serious.
What do you mean it's a job?
Well, we talked about a lot of development, which is great. Great ideas. But who here has already talked in?
I think that it grows just like having these meetings. You start and it's gonna take off.
I think having a partner would be a priority. I mean, if you're already talking about, hey, we're concerned about our future, then as you're concerned about the future, let's take stock of what's here. Take stock of what's here and let it evolve naturally on its own.
That would need to be agenda items like in the next board meetings to where we mostly focus on like what's the next program is. I would be changing that.
I mean, I just heard someone mention that it's challenging to do programming every month. Maybe we take a pause and take stock of ourselves.
Yeah, that's what we've discussed that, yes. Of less is more.
I'm serious, Spike, we all look to you on us with our technology issues.
I love Spike dearly, but Spike's not the only tech man in the world. And he's not
Right.
the only tech man here in Cleveland. And hold on for a second, Spike.
Yeah.
Spike is white, they're like, I know 4 other tech Black guys. What about connecting those resources? What about all the tech guys running around here?
I like that.
What about creating space for them? That's about succession planning. So
Can you connect us with that group?
again, all of you take stock of what's here. If I would be connecting, I want to know what are the benefits. I want to know what kind of partner you want. I would need to know those types of things to even be able to recommend a person to talk to, even be able to recommend anything like that. What I can tell you this is that the tech is large here. And though I love Spike dearly, I know lots of Black tech guys. I know a couple of Latino guys as well. So the thing is that perhaps that's a resource that you all have. Right? Hey, tech guys unite. Well, I mean, he served. He has served. Oh, he has served. Yeah. So my point is when we, again, this goes back to succession thing, succession planning, thinking in place of legacy.
That's appreciated, Jacinda. Thanks for that. Anybody, I guess, Linda, do you want to say what you put in your chat? Do you want to, I just want to continue, I guess. I don't think I want to wrap up yet. Linda's not, she's gone. She left. So either she got kicked off.
Can you read the chat? I can't.
I can't, but I have sharp eyes at a distance.
Well, Janet, you've been called on by Judith. Do you have anything you want to say?
Well, I agree, but I think, here wants to see.
Maybe she's walked away. I know, actually, I'm not sure if Janet walked away because I think she's still recovering from her ankle break.
Yes.
I don't know what this meeting was about a little bit.
Yeah. What do you do? Where do you now go?
Your strategies, when we're writing, you're actively pulling, brainstorming, you're actually collecting information, you're collecting data.
I didn't say it was an in-depth strategy.
It's not
The basic,
this is
the basic,
brainstorming.
yeah.
This is not brainstorming, it's a conversation, it's different. It's different. But I think that, being able to hand somebody a document or something that says, hey, here's what we're about, and here's who we are, and here's what kind of partners we would need, here's some, that would go really far. Are you here for the mission statement? Are you here for the mission statement? I'm gonna take a moment and read that. I'm thinking of something, I had something in mind, a little more strategic, inclusive.
I think of inclusive, you're really talking about getting more than like.
The definition of inclusive is the act of including. That's the definition, has nothing to do with race.
Well, it's not.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, when I say inclusive, the language on it doesn't, it is not, it's not.
We need it all.
It's all of it.
So maybe digital publishing uses for this, and we can.
I don't think that you should go and change the name. I think that it's about the expos and things like that happening. The film fest is having stuff. Summer is crazy around this festival all the time. About getting. But as far as the messaging,
The library is a perfect venue.
all right.
To invite the public. So we're not creating something brand new, we're just continuing, we're expanding our.
I think that's the problem, like, we're just waiting for people to come running in. We have to go.
They don't know what we're
There, come on, what's your name, sir? What's your name? John, yes.
But that's exactly it. We've had a discussion. We don't participate as a group officially. We're not out singing about in a lot of these places. I've been in the Ingenuity Fest, you know, as an individual, but not representing CDPUG. We don't have a table there. We used to go to the Makers Fair.
Yeah.
People found, we had a lot of people signed up after the last couple of Makers Fairs that we had attended. And it was great because people knew that we existed. You know, beyond, you know, some of us who were walking around telling other people that we exist, nobody knows about us. That's the thing. It's just about getting out and about, having something that has our logo or brand on it, so people know that we are around, or just having a table at some of these events and saying, this is what we're about. And I don't mind volunteering, you know, going to something, it's just to show people that this is what we do, teach people how to use devices outside. But all the time, there are a lot of our, at my last job, the first thing, I had to talk to a lot of people to show them how to use the devices. But I told them, it's like, they asked me, well, how did you learn all this stuff? I said, CDPUG. We need to have cards too, with QR codes that we could just hand, that any of us can grab and just hand off to someone and say, this is our group. By the way, look this up, here's a QR code, or this is our website. But the fact that we don't have anything physical, tangible, other than go to our website, that's not enough.
I agree.
Yeah, it comes back down to community engagements, like, I've been to a lot of your events too, and I see what you guys are doing, I see a lot of the stuff that you're doing with the inner city, youth. That a lot of the other folks that I see on Facebook, they're doing their own program, but they're getting out and about, they know that you exist, because, designing stuff. I see there's space down there, over there, over there on, people at Avenue, I drive past. Speaking of which, your sign's not there.
That's because we finished.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, I know nothing about what you've been doing.
Well, I've been a little busy.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I've been busy.
Don't worry, I've been doing some things. Brenda was nice enough to call the back for it. So yeah, I've been.
Yeah, she's been a busy girl. I've seen her all the God's creation, all downtown, all our major events.
So I think that's great. That's why when you talk about this, your experience.
Oh, no, yes, yes, like, and the reason that I decided to show up tonight, not just because Spike called me, but I agree with Henry that a lot of the things that I've learned how to do is due to this organization. So I do hate to see it dissolve. I do hate to see that. However, when I look at what you've been doing, and I'm still on the mailing list, and I do still send students to your website, and I do still do that. But the challenge is that the entire world is operating one way, and this group is operating a different way.
So that's what we're trying to find out. We need to, we don't have any of our membership engagers in the conversation. This is the first time in a long time, and this has been long overdue. This is what we needed to hear back from our members. We don't hear anything from members. We tried Facebook, we tried emailing, mailings, poll after poll after poll. Silence. It's like crickets. It's like we're just talking to ourselves against a wall.
Well,
And we had to force the issue tonight. That's why we had this roundtable, this town hall, to get as many of our members to get engaged and say, look, we just don't want to throw the threat of closing down our group or shutting it down to get everyone to get them to the table. But we don't know why people are not coming to the meetings. We don't know if we change jobs. We don't know if our meetings are inconvenient. We don't know a lot of things. And you can't plan based on zero information.
absolutely.
We're just throwing darts at a wall at this point and seeing what sticks, but.
Bad information is bad decision. I get it.
Exactly.
I absolutely get it. And that's why I'm really recommending, maybe you're like pushing me for these recommendations. I recommend some discovery work. I highly recommend some discovery work for the organization, because I could give you some names and I could take a call, but what am I gonna say?
Yeah, because if we build it, they will come. And
Absolutely.
that's how it was, because that's how I discovered this group. When I was in college, I was looking around and trying to figure out, I'm looking for a group where I can learn a little bit more stuff on computer. So I did some Googling, and then this group popped up, and I showed up to a meeting, and just then they got me to the board, that was it. That was the rest of the history. But I've learned so much and met so many different people from all walks of life and all stuff. You can't put a price on that. That's what this group is unique. You can't do that. The only community I see today are like the ones where I go on student feedback, critiquing and all that stuff in our public. We don't get that same kind of engagement. I don't know, because a lot of people are not on Facebook. Sure. And so that's fine. But then what platform would make more sense for us to get onto where we can get that kind of engagement? Do we need to have an organic blog on our web page where people can, post stuff and then get feedback? To open it up a little bit?
It's not glorious. Like, what about, here's the other piece too. There are other online communities. I don't want to be all out alone in this conversation, right? So there your like-minded person, you know, like you talk about good networking, right? Because the networking has been, you're all nervous to talk about somebody, you know, you, the first person you talk to, you go talk to the person you look at and feel. You'll be talking it up to them all night, right?
This was very tired.
No, you go talk to the other tired person because I bet you there's some synergy there. So what I'm saying is that I'm sure you're not the only one here talking about these types of things, even though you're not the only one experiencing these types of things.
Well, I can name off a whole bunch of groups, the IGA, they don't exist. We got Adobe Users Group, they're gone.
Oh, yeah, they've
And
been.
the IGA still is around, but again, they're like, you know, they have a different group, you know, in terms of how we approach. But again, we're trying to find.
Lack of collaborate for me. I can only speak for myself. For me, the lack of collaboration in this organization is.
It comes back down to the dog is. We don't have, because we don't have enough volunteers. We don't have enough critical mass of people that can do some of the stuff. Our lives change, our lives, personal lives, and our professional lives have changed within the last 2 years. When we had time to be able to do a lot of this stuff, they no longer able to do it. So
What was your thought, Jerry, about the idea? We're just having a conversation, no in-depth strategy, what's going on.
we're trying to go back to basics.
Well, no, my question was, what was your thought about the feeder?
Crossover three.
Oh, sorry.
So, no,
So what I was proposing is to do the stock. Hey, what kind of partner are we? What kind of things are we seeking in a partner? And then finding a feeder organization. So the reason you're talking about AIGA is changing because they have multiple feeder groups, right? So they're doing some things with a lot of colleges and universities. They've got student chapters. They've got feeder pieces that come in, that bring in new stuff, that like, so that cycle for them is like about 2 years. So every 2 years, the entire organization is shifting and changing. That's just built in their methodology. So the idea that, you know, when Spike shared this with me, the idea I shared was you're challenged, not just because of the lack of community engagement, but you don't have a feeder.
No, I agree, but the thing is that if we're getting feeders into the group, we have to have content.
That's why you need the perfect partner. Like, I'm not saying go to somebody bigger than you.
No, I understand where you're going, but it's just like, charities, she's like, like community coverage.
Well, you're not just looking at the package, you're also looking at technology, right? So,
I mean, you go to Tri-Seed West.
What about-
Tri-Seed East, and,
what about like the co-hatches of the world? You know, we have quite a few co-working communities around here, right? There's some relationship opportunity there. But what I'm saying is, like, if you had a feeder, it would be a partner that you all would begin to collaborate with, and each partner would be responsible for a thing. So the first thing you tell your partner is, we need 3 to 4 things. We need to like, hey, part of this, you're gonna bring us this, we're gonna keep doing this. And then you work the little things out, the little bumps in the road that might come up, you work it out together, but your partners, your collaborators.
Because that's just one way of trying to resolve, this to some degree.
But I think there was some other relationship, I don't know if he's missed those in the freeway. Okay, so my other relationships was, so we talked about the feeder.
Right.
I talked about the Tri-Seeds, the trade school.
Sure, that makes sense.
I also talked about the small business development centers, talked about the libraries, and then I also talked about global clean.
Yeah, and those are department here. We just don't. It still comes back down to messaging. We're not getting the word out there. You have your groups in the world, but we don't have any messages that exist. This is what we're about. It won't matter.
But it's self-fulfilling.
It is.
If we hook up with, say, Tri-C, their students would be our feeders.
Right.
What's coming into us.
No,
We provide the networking for them that they're not getting in school. they provide us fresh blood, basically.
So,
You share your access. Share your access. That's a community engagement technique. You don't share access, you're not gonna get access. So perhaps what you all do have here as individuals who've been here for 15 years.
Well, this is a job bank, I've been here.
You know, my point is that perhaps you have access that you can leverage.
yeah. I agree.
I think one of the problems for like
I know
our
what
group
you're saying.
is we're all, like, so many of us, like you network great. Your network is like 10,000 times mine. Cause it's just like, people are different, and like I work at home and I have these clients. So like on a weekly basis, you might see 100 people and I might see my cat, so there is like an issue with some of like our members, like we just don't have like access in our lives currently to make like an organic reach out to these people. So
I disagree with that.
You might be surprised.
I think you saying that you don't think you have access, that means you got a hell of a lot of access. Because if you didn't have access, you wouldn't know what the hell it was. What I'm saying is.
I'm saying like access to like a bunch of people.
I'm not talking about.
It's access to the correct people.
It's the correct people, it's the relationships, it's the know-how, it's the knowledge. Access comes in many different forms. It's not just the people. And one more thing I just want to throw out. I don't know what you have saw that you think I'm not sitting at the house all the time.
Oh, no, I'm just saying like I don't have any theater groups. I don't.
This isn't.
You're gonna lose, but you're gonna lose the Zoom people.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a one-on-one conversation going.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're on the same thing, we're just not articulating it correctly, but I think we're all agreeing on the same ideas, we just gotta figure a way to get it done.
Yeah, and I think we have enough takeaways for like the next board meeting for a good conversation.
Well, my job is done.
Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate the microphone is like, great for the Zoom people, but so I guess, I don't know, I was like hoping, I guess I still we still kind of need to have elections because we can kind of keep going with programming, but I wanted to see if we could, if anyone wanted to run for office, so we have openings for president and vice president.
Oh, which one at the time?
So,
Well, one of the questions I had,
and you can nominate yourself.
but part of the reason why we had a town meeting, we need to decide, or at least get an idea, do we want to continue in our current form in terms of our makeup as far as board setup and all that stuff? Or do we reduce the components down to a more informal type group where we do have at least the basic components, a leader, a secretary to record all the information, and then your basic functional, like a newsletter editor. We just don't have enough bodies at this point. So you just got to figure out how you function, and do we rewrite the bylaws or adjust the bylaws accordingly?
I would say make it like social, like we talked about for the year for 2023. And then if we decide to go ahead with, and we strategize and come up with something, that would be 2024. But and start the process of figuring out what we have to do to get from point A to point B. Right now, we're just in a ship that's just kind of sailing. And what she's saying is, okay, pick a damn point on the map and go that way. So we take 2023 and basically.
We gotta get on that ship and start going. Somebody calls.
We got to pick a direction before we start.
20 minutes left, so let me get this up. I think we need the branding, but also I think at the next meeting, we have to have somebody say, well, there are 3 events happening. What are we gonna do about it? That we could start showing,
Sure.
we gotta get connected.
You got the showcase coming up, so that's a great way to get the word out.
But if we don't have a plan, what are we selling? Hey, come join our once a quarter.
The showcases people they're telling their stories and showing their portfolios. That's the purpose of that.
Maybe we can set up a
Right.
demo at the front, some of the other things we did, similar to that makeup. So in addition to the show, set up a table. With by the way, you can now meet our group, learn a little bit more about what we are about.
Why not at the showcase ask questions of the people who attend?
Right, that would make
Why
sense.
can't they- And let's document that with some post-its, put some sticky notes up. Sure. Throw a mural board together so the people who are online, they can still contribute. If information is what you need.
Yes. So do we have enough to decide how we want to move forward?
I think we have stuff to discuss at the board. We have enough to discuss at the board meeting, right? And I think we need, I would like to, to see if anyone wants to nominate themselves for vice president and for president.
I don't think you're gonna get this, but because we don't know where we're going. So who wants to be a captain of a ship?
I don't know. Let's see if someone wants to. I said,
Well, and that's true. If someone has a vision of where they want to take it.
right. I think that's
Have that leadership.
right.
Can we move the elections off like 2 weeks?
Yeah, we're worried about elections right now. I think you're talking your side.
Well, the
We have
board
enough-
meeting would,
We have enough to think about before we have to think about positions, I think.
okay.
It's time to regroup and think through stuff before we start throwing darts at the board, being okay, so we're going to have this person going forward when they have no idea where we're thinking of going.
I'll send out the next board meeting on a normal date would be Thursday, the 13th at 6:30.
Where is the board?
All the board meetings are on Zoom. Because well, I guess you could. You want to offer?
No, he said they're on Zoom.
I mean, we could meet physically down at the Baker Electric Building where I'm at currently employed, because that building has a conference room that's usually not, the public office building after 5. So technically, we could have a one meeting. then.
Right. It could still be a hybrid meeting, but if people want to meet in person, we could.
But there's internet there. There's a large.
That's a great idea.
If you have a projector, we can bring it, you can project it up on, there's a large projection screen in the main conference room. There's parking in the back, it's secure gate, but there's also free parking out of the and it's centrally located, so. If you guys want to do that, I can make that happen.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. I'll send out an invitation then.
There are laboratories, pretty much everything that you need. No. Shakes.
And you have really fast internet there too, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So it won't be a problem if it goes.
Okay. All right. So I guess, thank you for thank you. Let's see everybody on Zoom. Thank you. And thanks for the feedback, and
Thank you for joining us very much.
that should be helpful for our next board meeting.
And saying things that are important to be said. You're welcome.
So I motion we adjourn.